First one. Do you think that Nebraska football is going to finish in the top half of the conference next season?
That is a really hard question to
Top
answer.
half.
Mm.
So top 9.
18 teams.
I think there's
I think they have the schedule. I do think they have the schedule that will allow them to get there, but it's going to require them, obviously, that first 7 games. What can they get out of it?
Yep.
And then can they get another one on the back end, whether it's UCLA or Iowa or Wisconsin? I mean, I think I'm chalking up Ohio State and USC as losses on the road.
Okay.
And then that back half of UCLA, that's a really tough game on the road. I'm sorry, it's in Lincoln. Excuse me.
Lincoln, not a tough game.
That's a game in Lincoln that they have a chance to get, I think. And I do think the game against Wisconsin and Lincoln will be a tough game, but one they can get. And then Iowa to close the year. You don't know what that's going to bring, but can they get one out of those 3? I think that's going to be a big part of how the year finishes. And if they go 2-3 over that final 5 today, I would say I'd take that.
God, the big question is the rest of the league. I mean, it's easy for us to size up Nebraska because we size it up basically every day of our life. But I don't know exactly what some of these teams have back. I mean, it's hard to know.
Oregon and Ohio State are going to be the best 2 teams.
Looks like that. But from there, I don't know. I mean, we say USC lost 5 games this year. I mean, they're not that good. I guess because you're going out to LA, it's tough.
Iowa has a chance
to be very good,
to be in that 3 to 5 group.
They won 10 games this year.
Like Iowa could
See
be
what that offense looks like.
Yeah.
Well,
it can't be worse.
I mean,
it literally can't be worse.
They have McNamara back, healthy.
Yeah. And Luke Lachey back. They have all 5 offensive linemen back.
With Caden Proctor.
Yeah, adding Caden Proctor. So all offensive line stars back, adding Caden Proctor. They get Luke Lachey back. They have McNamara back. It won't be I don't think it'll be a bad
offense. Tory Taylor.
That's true. That's true.
And they have a reasonable schedule.
Yes. But again, it's really hard to I can handicap Nebraska. I can't. I don't know what some of these other teams have.
How do you handicap Nebraska without knowing their quarterback situation? I mean, like what is Raiola going to be? I mean, like is he going to be a guy that can win 9 games?
They have the schedule to develop them. They're not going to Minnesota and Colorado to open a year.
Yep.
At night and on Big Noon kickoff back-to-back weeks.
But he's still a true freshman. You have no idea what you're going to get from him.
No.
Like
Sean, we think he'll be the starter though?
I think so. I think Dylan Raiola, if you want to write this down as just my take, he'll probably be the starter. Okay.
What world do you live in where you think he won't be the starter?
Well, I think the conversation of the Big Ten though, Oregon and Ohio State, I think we all agree are the playoff level teams, but there's probably 3 in this league.
What is the third one?
And that to me is the discussion today. It will change.
There a third one?
Well, somebody will get to 10-2, and that will be the third team. So is that USC? Is that Penn State? Is that Iowa? State. Could Michigan punch their way up to 10-2? Yeah. And they have Texas. So if Michigan beats Texas early, that will help them. But I think the conversation today is who can be the third team in the playoff in the Big Ten.
I think that is. Who is that? Who is that team?
And I think it's wide open, but I think we know there's 2 favorites right now.
Penn State.
No, Oregon and Ohio State.
After that.
And then after that, like the third. I think Iowa is in that conversation. Okay. I would imagine Wisconsin feels like they can be in that conversation.
Okay.
Wisconsin cleaned up in the portal again. So, and they brought Alex Grinch on their staff.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to handicapping the league, except there's 18 teams now, and that's a lot of handicap.
Big Ten Media Days is going to be like,
where's that going to be, Sean?
I don't know. I mean,
is it an LA thing now?
I don't know about that. Indy seems like it's the spot.
We're going back to Indy, Rob.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, we have to
familiar.
I like Indy. I just don't like going to.
We might be going to Indy twice during the season. Well, for sure for the Indiana game, but for Purdue, we might just stay in Indy too. It's hard to say.
Okay.
All right. Next question.
Okay. Next one. Does Nebraska have a true nose tackle on the roster to back up Nash Hutmacher?
Oh,
Sua Lafatu.
Okay.
Ty Robinson can play
that,
but Sua, I think, is the man in waiting.
Yep. I think I don't have anything to add. I think Sean's exactly right on that, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Is there somebody we're missing?
I'm looking at the roster right now. No, and maybe that's the issue.
You don't slide Van Poppel into that. I don't.
He could on like a passing
But a
down.
Ty can play nose.
Yeah,
I think on true passing downs, you can be flexible, but on those run downs, you have to have a Nash in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Nash has gone to where he can play almost 40 snaps a game, where early in his career, 20 was a reach.
No doubt.
And now the 285-pound version of Nash Hutmacher, he's going to be in pretty good shape.
It's really a luxury to have he and Ty Robinson be able to play that many snaps.
No question.
Next question.
Okay.
Grown men.
Of the remaining regular season games, how many wins does Nebraska ball need to make the tournament? And is there a magic number of conference wins?
Let me ask you this, Robin. If they win out at home and don't win a road game, will they get in the tournament? Or will they need to win one game in Minneapolis?
Okay. Well, that would give you a win over Wisconsin. It would give you a win over
Michigan.
I'm trying to think of like
Michigan's
ones that stand out to you. Beyond that, I don't know. So I don't think so. I mean, they need to get to 21, I think. I think 21 is your magic number. Now,
6 more.
you can get to 20. Yeah, they had 15 as of recording time Tuesday. You can still get to 20 because it's always about who you beat and where you beat them. So if they go and win 3 more on the road, all of a sudden that schedule looks pretty good. Because I think they've done enough to this point where as long as they avoid losses, any more losses like the Maryland one, they're going to be in a good spot. But I'm going to say 6 more to feel at least somewhat comfortable about your chances on Selection Sunday.
I mean, the schedule does lighten up a little bit now.
It does. It
Who's
does.
their best winnable road opportunity?
Oh, I mean, you got Michigan, who's terrible. You got
They're terrible.
they are terrible. Indiana, they're a weird team that's
Kinda
struggling.
weird, yeah.
So I'd probably say Michigan is your best chance. Ohio State's kind of reeling right now, so they already beat them.
Northwestern will be a tough one.
Oh yeah, that's
Illinois will be a tough one.
These next 3, starting with Wisconsin on Thursday, once you get past Wisconsin, Illinois, Northwestern, then that's when you need to make hay. So if they can just find a way to
Stay together.
get at least 1, hopefully 2 of those next 4, which easier said than done, then they will be in a really good spot going to the backstretch.
And they have to avoid day 1 of the tournament. I mean, like even last year, they were dang near around 500 in
I
the
think they
league.
will.
And they had to play day 1 still.
Yeah, they won't play day 1.
But nobody wins on the road in this league. So it feels like a 10-10 mark is fairly common right now.
They don't. 3 teams won on the road last weekend. I mean,
Iowa won on the road.
Yeah,
Purdue won on the road, and
right.
Wisconsin won. I mean, Wisconsin and Purdue have like 75% of the road wins.
Yeah, and those are the 2 best teams in the conference. And then Iowa will they beat
Minnesota
Penn State.
won on the road. I mean,
Penn
Yeah,
State, right?
that's what it
They
was,
beat
yeah.
Penn State on the road.
yeah, they can happen.
Penn State's awful.
Yeah. Well, Minnesota's not great. They're not terrible though. I was actually taken by Minnesota.
They're
a little
fine.
bit. Yeah, they have a point guard. I will say that about
Can
them.
the Big Ten get for sure 5, but can they get 6 or 7 bids too? Is a big part of the conversation.
I don't know about 7.
6 is probably
I
where
think 6 is safe. 5
Okay.
for sure. 6 if things go well.
and there's 4 established teams, and I feel like 5 and 6, there's about 5 teams that think they're those 2 teams.
Mhm. And then it's
4
coin
established teams.
flip.
Purdue, Wisconsin.
Illinois. Or you can say Northwestern. They're established.
Was Northwestern the 4th spot? Would you say, Rob? Or?
They're in there. They're in there for sure. I mean, they're top 50. Iowa's in that conversation. Michigan State.
Michigan State's the 4th team.
Yeah.
That's the 4th team. They'll get in, and they'll
Mhm.
be a 10 seed, and everybody will pick them to go to the Sweet 16.
That's what
Sean's
they do.
got this down.
That's what they do.
They'll be the sexy Sweet 16 10 seed pick, and they'll make the Sweet 16,
Probably.
and it will be like another Izzo special. All right. Final question.
Boy.
All right. Where is the most beautiful place you've ever seen in person?
I'll have to say Maui, Hawaii.
Okay.
Going on the road to Hana, we did I didn't drive it. It's the windiest road in the world.
Hana.
Yeah, you drive it. It's like a 10-hour type deal where you ride in like a bus, and I mean you see just things that you could never imagine. I mean, the car drives like on high cliff highways where you're like inches away from coming off the road.
Oh, breathtaking stuff. Breathtaking.
Just very, very unique. I mean, Ireland was special too, but we didn't have as much time to really delve into Ireland as you would have liked.
I don't know that was Ireland beautiful.
Well, because you just studied at Dublin. You got to go like in the countryside and the rolling green, majestic hills.
Okay.
of-
Well, we went out to Hoth, and that was pretty.
You
good.
saw
I mean,
Rolling
we
Green.
went like 10 minutes outside of town. It was awesome.
Yeah, you saw Rolling Green.
Sybil just
Majestic.
stayed in the lobby bar the whole week.
Not all.
Ordered wings in Dublin every night in the lobby
I
bar.
did. The wings were tremendous.
They were good
Thank
wings.
you.
They were good wings. I didn't get the wings in
They were
Dublin.
good. They ran out of them, by the way.
Because of you.
Yes. So from a tropical perspective, I'll say Costa Rica. If you go to the
Ooh,
beach on the
good.
Pacific side, it's
Wow.
incredible.
You've been to Colombia.
Yeah, different. It's not like it's a different vibe, as you might expect.
There was
Costa
really,
Rica.
really cool. But then the other, I'll go like non-tropical and say Garmisch, Germany.
Okay.
Like if you think of like the movie Frozen, like the Alps and all that sort of thing, like that's the mountains that they have there. And I climbed around on those mountains, and I was so underprepared for that.
How so?
One of the scariest experiences of my life.
what,
It's like
what happened?
you're on a cliff with like the biggest slope ever, and there's like just little metal poles in the side of the mountain, and you're clipping on to like a cable, like an iron cable, and you have to step on a pole, unclip to get over the thing that's holding the cable on. And so like you're basically just going like that up this wall of mountain. And I was like, I'm just like wearing like running shoes and jeans. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like this is so regrettable. And so
You made it though.
I
World
made
traveler.
it about 75% of the way up, and I was like, no. I
And
can't.
then
I
what?
can't. Then I had to go down.
Really?
It's just as sketchy, probably more so.
Was there like a
Okay.
person like trying to help you down?
My cousin-in-law, who's like some special forces, like GI Joe guy, like he's just up there like not even clipped in, just like jumping
I
around.
need to hear this story in case I've ever faced with that situation and say, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
Right. I've heard some stories like that from people who have get in those mountain situations,
Mhm.
think it's easy, and
Because it
it's
starts easy, and then all of a sudden you're like,
Right.
oh, I have to do this. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Turn around?
I'm not as well traveled as you, but I've been to a lot of the Caribbean islands, and Barbados was. I liked Barbados the most, partially because it's just sort of a personality quirk. Barbados, there's some on the Pacific or on the Caribbean side. The water's like it's like a bathing, like a bathtub, which I hated. But there's an Atlantic side where the waves come in super hot and high, and that's fun. And that part of the island's gorgeous. So there was some Caribbean islands I've been to I didn't like because they're on the Caribbean, and the water's flat and it's not very fun. But Barbados.
How did Memphis stack up for you this last weekend?
in terms of beauty?
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Beale
Beale
Street's kind of
Street, yeah.
neat. I mean, Beale Street's super cool. Memphis is it's a tough period. Beale Street's not doing good business right now. We don't need to talk about
No,
that.
that's for
Sidetracked.
It's not. I wouldn't list that as one of the beautiful places I've been to. I had fun for all the Memphis listeners. I did. It was fun. We loved it. We
check out the Peabody.
saw the ducks and all that. And I like Beale Street. I loved it actually. It's just they need more people there right now.
Abby, what's yours?
Actually, it's in Wyoming.
Where?
Laramie?
Like, I'm not going to tell you exactly where because I don't want to give it away. But it's like 45 minutes away from Cody, Wyoming. And
Mhm.
my family,
What
when I was
direction?
growing up, we went in
Coordinates,
like
please.
northeast, like northwest corner where it's like probably maybe 45 minutes away from Yellowstone, but
Okay.
there's like no people there.
Mm.
No cell reception.
Ooh.
My family used to go every summer when I was growing up for 2 weeks. No cell reception, no real showers.
Mm.
And we would just hike and fish and enjoy time outside every day.
You go
It's
on a
amazing.
you go on the big Barmore camping trip every year, about right?
Yes. We haven't the last couple of years because now all my siblings are like have like jobs
That
and
sounds amazing, by the
responsibilities.
way.
It's unreal.
It's a
It
camping
is
trip.
incredible.
It's not a luxury trip.
Yes.
You-
No, we stay in a camper on like just like public land
Okay.
and literally no cell reception at
Wow.
all.
Mm.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, you have a camper toilet for 2 weeks. We kind of get tired of each other after a while,
I can see that.
especially now that we're all bigger. me having to sleep on a bunk bed for like 14 days.
Ooh, that'll
kind
test you.
of. But it is so beautiful and so nice.
Wyoming
best
is
place
one of the
ever.
most underrated states in the union.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Beautiful.
Beautiful.